So is mis Martin an bhfuil leor is buirlim báilte chuireamh má camrádaí Caitríona agus Andy a bheits a Caitlin de Mart seo thugainn in san cruinniúas Jeremy den grúpa big grú a tugainn an íortha bhfuil first in sa Cultarlán agus ahan bhí an bhharrta bí an caint géalaigh againn nó caint gá hangach agus ar is for an hang iad on Trahaj War. So delighted to be joined by our dear friends Katrina and Andy, who are right in the heart and soul of the Irish language community in West Belfast because they're based in Cultarland, where the West Belfast Small Business Roundtable meets every month. And in March, to mark Seachtain na Gaeilge, we always have a Gaeilge talk or a bilingual talk. And on Trahaj War, the publishing company of Katrina and Andy is very much a bilingual operation, perhaps even more bilingual now than it was originally. So, Martin, while you're here again, and delighted to be hosting them on Tuesday, 31st of March. So, just the Taoiseach, just Rudbeg Coolra, which Katrina Sullivan Brewer, Andy, Aberlin Rudbeg for the Coolra, mar Kegan Nabraha, nach Coolra grow a bhíogat. Is fear foster grew de hismóirí a gcóí da cruúgach agus gríthach agus a gcóí a Johnny ruddy. Ach Aberlin in dhéalaigh dús rudbeg fad a cruúra hían.
Well, is misir nó ag trína niccein, so is daine de chláán bhiccein mé. So ar nó version éireacht intachú a bhhair sin mar tógu ar bhuair seoim mé. Agus an tús atá ma héal hían, ma héal ibre, is dátha buinn sé le heideas, agus mar hegann tú hían agus teigi daine bí géiste glomsa, hí idirhis agus is dátha nualacht lárnach an obair ma hiistí gcónaí agus na daine le an pobl hart fadúdú. So ní bhainn sé le ma hismóir a bhhain sean agus mara an ever céige dá bhuair seo, agus sin bhí Caitlín maid sin beldár sa sin agus an sin Seamus, Uncle Seamus Maher baishtí in sa tríothach. So agus an pobl omlan a himplí mé agus mé fás an éis sta gur ólam mé codúir. Ní bhhain fe idehis agus chur an cin pobl ach a tá lárnach an obair so gin héan ach fásta buinn sé le nualacht agus is dotha a bheith an tosaí ar rudaí agus a bheith intach chuirthaige intach dearafach défnach fa tuairt na habar é deana lán leat agus is féidir a dhéanú. So is an coolar atógam san agur muintir scola mé agus bhí mé teagasc agus ba muintir idethe mé rud aró go héintach ar fáid breis agus trotha blian agus an is tá mé ag gáil ar scór le sin le bheith gobar leis an obair seo bhí sa túlagam héana agus Andy ar fáid a bhád ribh sin mar short pleasure agus passion a bhí agin agus bhí an táid dearg len gur bhfuilmaidir a chéile a chasmaidir a chéile agus an rud a hála na go róid gur ansim agin i lóir agus deanú lóir agus is smaisiúir alíntuair ilse antí sin an cinneal sin an céim bhain sé maithach sin an cinneal passion agus an obair a bhí aige cé go ró sé sin fásta ina éidir chusúir Skull Specialta Glenveigh Special School ar fáid a bhád fásta. So le lindúin a bheith gobar an ruí sin bhí a gcónaí hí luirthaí a gcónaí a grílár ar gríthe agus pobl fásta mar sin an rud atá inta táhacht leat leis an obair tá muid dhéanú is gur iompar méid sin lom tá freigrach sin intach Inta étrum le humpar an ammaní a thug ma hismóidú ach fásta freigrach tá inta táhaach dúsa agus an sin ar réon ag Andy ó bhfuil sé lom gohfuil muid a géirí pobl a chrothú, go nombriam sin lom Tá me sé ddíirech mar duine do glún atá a gáil ó glún go glún a géirí an rud céine ní bheith mé réo abal de siúil an rága ma histí agus na daine hánig Róm. Bhfuil chuúir deanta acu ach bhfuil muid a géirí sur pobl léthreachta, pobl na Gaeilge, pobl fólama, agus beidir pobl sport, spré de feisty go maithí siad náhfuil siad fásta I bhfolus leis an Gaeilge, go bhfuil an neart tartar has so bíon imachtaí de táhachtá agus pobl.
So ar nó had a chuid brag hí an agad ní grad sinna braga in Europeala. So Andy, she just sold you down the river there. So she did. I
Nothing
mean,
new then, Martin?
well, one of the amazing things is that in some ways people would say, well, this wasn't a very long journey, brought up in the Shaw's Road and now running the business out of an Culterland. But of course, the journey of reversing the decline of the Irish language is absolutely miraculous. And again, the advances made by the Irish language community, and you stress the word community there repeatedly, have also been absolutely amazing in the period of your lifetime. But Andy, of course, she did travel a long way because she met a North Belfast man. You're from North Belfast originally? No?
No,
You're a South Belfast man?
no,
You're not a Westie, are you?
I am.
You're a Westie. Wow,
Yeah.
okay. But so tell us how you met. That's what we want to know.
Well, well, the thing is, I'm originally from Abyssinia Street on the Falls,
Wow, okay.
and my parents very quickly moved to Scotland soon after I was about
Wow.
three, and they worked in a psychiatric hospital in Scotland, and then we moved to Wales. We lived in a hospital there called the Hamadryad, named after a Spanish galleon. And then I come back home as the hunger strikes were taking place in Belfast. And I lived in Riverdale Park North in
Wow.
Andersonstown. And there's a little shed down the back. And in that shed, I used to paint the back of denim jackets for friends, heavy metal covers. And a lot of those friends just happened to be from Bohershahi. A lot of Thin Lizzy covers. And then I joined a band called Breg. And I played the drums with Breg for a number of years. We did an album called Ganja, and I did the cover for that as well.
You're
And
much more
then
interesting than her, you know that, don't you?
Tell everybody that all
so
the time.
myself, I was out with a friend called Ro, and we went to see a sitar player in one of the local hotels in Belfast one Saturday afternoon, and we went round to Madden's afterwards, and I had a cup of tea. I was driving, and I met Katrina and Orla McGrory, and I kind of knew of Katrina because her brother Tomas was a trumpet player in Breg.
Oh, yeah.
So I just said to Katrina, I'd love to have learn a little bit of Irish, a little bit of Gaelic. And of course, after 20 years,
I've heard
she's
lots of
still to
lines
teach
to pick
me.
up women. I
We're
haven't heard that line.
we're still teaching. I'm still
So,
teaching them, so.
so after 20 years, she's still to sit me down to teach me. So,
So, so look, you've lots of things in common, and you're a husband and wife business team, which is not very common, but it's known up. But of course, you are both really creative. Katrina is a teacher, and you as an artist. So you have a lot of common ground. But where did you find this business idea from, or this idea? And just in a minute, I'll touch upon, is it a business or is it a community enterprise? But when did you think, like, maybe we could be involved in a publishing enterprise, or did you start first, Andy, with other people, or was Trina
I
was always there helping?
what is well, my career started really with doing London publishers, working with them. And my first book I got published was a book called Field Guide to Irish Fairies with Bob Kern.
Yeah.
And that was bought over by Chronicle Books in the US, and it did extremely well. I think even after this period of time, 40 years, it's still in print, 30 years, still in print. Um, but then we decided, myself and Katrina thought it'd be a great idea to do something that we both could identify as a really Irish story that was not known that well, because you had all the Children of Lear and Finn McCool and Kehoe and all the obvious standard stories. So I took myself down to UCD and did a lot of homework, and we came across this story, and were sent to the Queen's University in Belfast to a gentleman called Donald O'Boyle. And Donald O'Boyle had this story for us called Gascioch na Belgiúnia, which was under the Auntie Arne and Stith Thompson catalogue of stories, Type 301, because Type 301 was a Dragon Slayer motif. And we decided to take that story, and Katrina rewrote it for the modern reader. And we went to Forrest na Gaeilge and we asked them, could we have a wee bit of money to do this book? And a lady called Derda Davitt said, well, you can't really do that unless you set up a company.
Good for her.
So we thought, okay, this is it. So we had to set up an Tahajwar Tiranta, and that's how we began. So it was no way a word sort of plan to take over the universe or anything. It was really just about necessity to get funds to produce this book we both thought was a great story to tell in Irish.
which is we're both working full time as
We
well
were, yeah.
as teachers. So was it a hobby? Was it a pastime? Or at what point did you think, well, look, maybe it'd be nice if it actually washed its face and made some money? Or did man just got a grant from Forest to Gaelic and get it out there?
No, well, you see, when I went into special needs teaching, I had no plan to be a special needs teacher. I had a plan to be an art teacher, and it was very strategic. I'm going to be honest. It was always to be a supplement to what I also did in the evening time.
Yeah,
So it was a balance. And but the special needs was just a wonderful thing to be involved with.
yeah.
That there was no way I could have walked away from that. But the strategy always was at 55 I was going to retire from teaching to continue on this. So there was a long, long strategy to build the company in the background. And with the idea that when we got to a certain point in time, we could then step aside and do the company full time.
So Katrina neist dit sé tá an bhir se go bhírí is an
Támuid,
útseachtanis go thomlan
yeah.
ach agus is dóigh gur chuir sin borúfaí rudaí is thug sé cinneal
Haar
ó
agus
gachtaí.
fásta hánig sé ag an funse fásta um, le cuasaí go méhar ar ein ceal go am leis an obair mar ní féidir las na ré le rud amháin na rud eile leis an teagas mar germmas agus germhéan agus andaí go minic Tá teagas intain de táta thuginn bhí a gcónaí agus tuí tú híon sin cethairithe leis an ggéalaide is dúsa go an caiidean ar an caiidean is airgin san obair. So mar sin de tá sé caihí tú lans na ré deanú obair mhuair waithan sin. So mar sin de hánig sé an fun se fásta agam héan gur éir lein muoinú a le chláir televis sé anna. Agus is cólacht léirechain an ismuid. Agus ruid chláir televis sé le rite agus ní hocu lom tuairt faoin obair intach sin. De sénta ha bhí an fásta dú agus began dú sort idir ruí bhain le teilech agus an sin leis an obair. Bhí de segam san sin seaú siar ón teagasc. Ar fáid beidir bhí mé ar 9 ar dús smuintí gnealín sin don bhléon sin ach an sin tanig burú ar an obair tan ceart agad bhhair sin agus ar bháid caihí tú an sin de chrí omlan a chuiriste an san rud a tamadí anú bí Virginia gobar le thuúdar agus le cólachtaí stá intach léanta a bhainean leis an litríocht. Ní caihí tú gcóní sin a anú bhhair sin leríomhhar waid cai tú bheith ar fáil, so leis an chláir teleise ar ggóid chuir sin spag in san obair mar an sin chuir sin brú armsa go le dró rudaí an eile rud atá go hiintach.
So journey from being part-time to publishing books based on Irish folklore to Rita, which we're going to talk about, and then the TV and next stop Hollywood. But Andy, tell us about Rita, because the first books were based on Irish folklore, but Rita is anything but Irish folklore in some ways. So tell us about the Rita series.
It was we had done so many books with Irish myth and legend, and we're starting to change our strategy because they were very well received. They won lots of awards, but each one took an inordinate amount of time to complete. So Mara Zepp and myself had a chat about a character, Ascaliga, because we felt that children who wanted to be raised with Irish were bereft of a character they could attach to help them with their reading, and also to have Irish as a language they could, attach with a book and a character. So we spent a long time developing the little character Rita. So she's very much a definite design aspect. And the idea would be that we would bring a series of these that children could then follow as Gaeilge. So it was really for the Irish language community and obviously for the younger reader. So for ages between 5 and 7. And I think that as time progressed, we found it became extremely popular. And eventually then we decided that it'd be a good idea to have it as a television
Well, now hold
program.
on, just before that. So just before you go on to your moment at the Oscars,
Mhm.
so Morris F's a very talented Hollywood lady originally, I think is she
She is, she is,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
very talented woman, very patient, committed like yourselves. But how does that work? That Andy, because you're doing the art, and she's doing some of the writing, and Katrina, I presume, helping with that as well. But
Yeah, I edit. Yeah.
how do you cooperate to create a character? I mean, who?
Do we are, Martin, we are the Elton John and Bernie Taupin
Okay, okay.
of Irish language publishing
Lennon and
fiction.
McCartney.
That's exactly what we are. So what Mara would do, we knew we knew what the strategy was for each story. This basic strategy is that Rita Swincha Mora has these ideas about,
For her.
and the scenario plays off in her head, and she
Mhm.
goes through it logically. And by the time she goes through the scenario, she realizes it wasn't such a good idea after all. So that's the strategy for each of the stories, be it the Fahach or be it the Kalyach or be it whatever the character is. So Mara would send me the text, and I would interpret that text. And fair play, she wasn't holding on to it like a dear
Yeah.
jewel. She would let me go away and just be free rein at the illustration. So I was able to bring a lot to the story by way of visual narration. So the narrative visually is not always what Mara would have imagined. For instance, Rita, August, and Dragon was never intended to be in the snow, but we felt because it was an anger management story that we could use the snow as a method for showing anger in different forms. So it was water, ice, and snow, and each one of those changes, and that would be a great allegory for trying to show how the child's deflation of emotion would
So
happen.
so the reader books are just wonderful, and children fall in love with them, and but it's reading the dinosaurs, reading the ninja. But are you going to tell me there's actually an educational or a moral or a reason for these? I mean, well, obviously I missed that, but is each book also has a sort of educational aim, has it, other than just
Yes.
learning language? Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I didn't know that. So what's the ninja? What's the ninja? I mean, the great thing about them is they're all fun. They're all fun, which
They're
is
all
just
fun.
unbelievable, you know.
It's really
Yeah. Yeah.
And great to see. I mean, what a thrill it must give you when you see a child go over and go through
oh,
and engage. Like that just must be unbelievable.
Oh,
So there's a process, but not only a process between the
there is.
creation, but what the message is. There's a deeper
yeah.
message, is there?
Well, the message in some of them, well, in the early Ritas, there's no wee brother. So then we introduced this wee brother as a kind of like Lauren Hardy kind of thing. And the interplay between those two is a lot of the morality in it, where they have a fraught relationship as two siblings,
Mhm.
but at the same time, when it comes right down to it, they care for each other and look after each other.
Yeah, sounds like marriage,
So
but keep going. Yeah,
yeah,
keep going.
And
there's
we
a
work
challenge.
together.
It helps you grow.
Yeah. Okay.
So say for instance, the ninja one, well, the ninja one, the ninja story basically is Batman Begins, to be honest, where they go up into the temple and
Wow.
they get this training, and it's all about the wee brother following Rita and really getting then caught on and then getting kidnapped. And then Rita using the skills that she's learned as a ninja to retrieve the little brother. So it's all about that care. But this is all in imagination, of course,
And
because it all boils down to the very beginning part where they're in the room together in the living room and they're just not getting on. But then by the end, when they go back into the living room, they're the best of mates. And there's
the
that in it.
villain.
So there's another level to Rita that people
But
maybe
but so writing a children's book and illustrating children's books is difficult as doing a book like a novel or a novella or anything else. It's not a people think it's for children and it's easy.
no, children are not easy.
I think the simply is the tarot is Jackra sin a
Or the
leru.
simpler general
Couple of focal agus an
yeah.
sin caiú an póú idir an scríú agus an picture an na híhaine a chuir le chéile agus tá skill áirithe le sin. Is me se is sort an obair anam híana leis is agahuiir mé
Okay.
mar sin ar an obair le mehall ibre bí an daine ógine bhíon a gcónaí is ar 9 tam sin bhirt básta
Mm.
agus an obair anam is taimime a gcónaí bheith cinse go bhfuil an obair sin ar ard caiitin agus mar sin de bíon méhall ibre a gine méhall de gine arcan ar an obair go maiid le bheith cinse gohfuil sé sláán agus gohfuil an obair ar an caiitin agus gohfuil an obair mar bhhailín so tá grúpa bíon aine nig garáil se gobarlinn tá gobar hí sa chop sa Culturland so it's really a joint venture we're all the time we're learning about new things. Technology is very important, isn't it, Andy, in
Absolutely.
our work
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
Tell us about the journey into TV, and it's wonderful when I'm visiting people. I can see they have the TG Car Kula downloaded, and you can watch it anywhere in the world. But tell us about that journey into TV, and then I want to finish with Colleen Shinshare. But so, Katrina, tell us about how the TV
Well, TV
episode came
has
about.
been so the TV has been extremely important, because Kula Caher's link with us then has taught us so much. We did not have any knowledge at all of that kind of work. So again, the way we started off with our books has always been to have the best people working with us,
Yeah.
and then we learn from those people. If the Sean Michel a Oberlin, Bunchagan, the
Mhm.
Jari, so Andy does all the design now, but you start off to learn and you're kind of mentored through that process. So the same was with Kula Cahir. We had the best. We had Jackie Doyle, a producer from Manchester, who worked with us, and then we had Damien McCann from Aintus fame, and he did the live shoot with us as well. So we learned through that process. But we also, you talked about education as well, and educationally, what's in Rita, the message that's in Rita. We also prepared 6 live workshops that are digitally available for and Coolacar too, based on each of the 6 books that we prepared
Wow.
for broadcast. So these are Mara's Ep, and we wrote the scripts obviously about say then Kailach. There
Yeah.
was a message in Kailach, and there are 6 minute lovely shorts, of workshops that teachers and schools can.
Wow.
It's our background, you see. We're always thinking of the reading is there for pleasure, and that's what we want. Books stand alone as pleasurable books. But it's so, so important for us too that we're giving back, I suppose, educationally to community in a sense. So the 6 standalone workshops are very, very popular in schools, and their access. And what's really lovely too, they're in Ulster Irish, which is
Yeah.
lovely. And obviously, we work with the ILBF, and that's very important too, that
Mhm.
you hear our voice, our children hear
Yeah.
our voices
Yeah.
in our books and
And and
on screen.
there's a synergy, Katrina. People see the programs on TV with Morris F. and so on, reading and taking them through it. Then they'd be interested in the books. So
Yes. Oh,
it's
yeah.
helpful.
It always started with a book. You
Mhm.
maybe talk about just the images in the book and how you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Tell us about in Colin Shinshire, because the glorious,
Oh, that's
okay.
beautiful
Well, Colleen
Christmas
Ginger has
Belfast
been
book, first bilingual book.
it's been a joy. I have to say, it was Marianne McShane. I
Mhm.
came across Marianne McShane about 5 years ago when she contacted me. She was a librarian in America, in New York City.
Wow.
She contacted me to say, would I be interested in submitting work to the Eric Carle Museum in Massachusetts? That's the Hungry Caterpillar fame. Of course, I jumped at the chance with other illustrators from around Ireland. And she curated that exhibition in the Eric Carle Museum. And then we got to know Marianne through her storytelling prowess, and she is extremely talented at that. And over a year ago, she was sitting down in the Cotland, and she says, I have this story called Callie and Shincher Belfarstia, and would you be interested in having a wee look at it? And I said, well,
Wow.
Belfast is very colloquial. And I says, and plus it's written in English. It's not our usual, but let's have a look at it and see.
Well,
And
no,
of
she
course,
speaks Irish. She does speak Irish
she
as
does.
well.
She's the reason why we took it on was because she's learning Irish in tourists
She
over in
spoke
East
good Irish.
Belfast.
I saw her on the
Oh,
Yeah,
on the
she's
video.
yeah.
fantastic.
So that's the reason how she got into the door, really,
Yeah.
was because plus the story was really delightful. She is a beautiful storyteller. So,
Yes.
and it was actually Anya Niglin, the laureate in Nogue,
Yeah.
who actually put her our way, to be honest. She was in the background pulling all the levers.
And what's the story in Colin Shinshire?
Colleen Sinsher is a very exciting story about a girl called Marianne who goes to St. George's Market and intends to buy something else, but sees this beautiful Colleen Sinsher, a gingerbread girl, and intends to buy her to probably eat her. And she jumps off, and it's really a reworking of that story that we all know, which has made it very successful as well. It's a reworking, a resetting of the gingerbread girl in Belfast. So
Yeah.
she runs past all the different
Beautiful.
landmarks and away
Beautiful.
from all these different creatures. And it's become, I suppose we have just, it's been just jumping off the shelves because
Beautiful.
people want to see their own place.
Yeah.
Children want to see where they're from. And this book is so special because Astrahan Janta ag Anya ní Glynn. Anya ní
Glenn.
Glynn has translated the book. And Anya we work with a lot. I mean, she's one of our really lovely writers that we work with, and she's so talented. And she wrote this beautiful translation. But the translation is beautifully put on the page. Bilingual books, Andy will tell you,
Well,
can be
I'm
problematic.
not a fan of bilingual books because they look so there's so much on the page,
Well,
but
yeah,
the
yeah,
language is balanced well in this one.
yeah. And also, it's not off. Well, sometimes I have friends who say, look, we'll translate this in the Irish, but it's something in English already. And you say, well, look, it's already available in English. It's not really that necessary to translate it into in the Irish. But this is an original book and it's a real homage to Belfast. It's beautiful. So, Kes Jeranak. So, we just finished with this last question to throw you. Um, so why do you do this? Why do you do this? Why don't you go to Barbados on your teacher's meager
Sorry.
retirement funds and do something else? So I mean, why not only why are you publishing these books, beautiful books for children and engaging this, but why are you doing it in Irish?
Well,
So answer that question. Why?
Yeah.
Tell me the why of
Right.
your business.
Well, the thing about that is, I mean, that is the core of what we do.
Why?
The
Why do you do
language.
that? Why do you not go and just
There's
do
plenty.
ads for Apple?
which
Like there's
Andy could
there's there's
probably
there's
do.
plenty the English language is across the world, and with Netflix and other thing, it is going from strength to strength as a dominant language. Irish needs help. It does need help. It needs help in as many different parameters as we can give it. And we're there to try and help sustain the language and to try and grow a community that has a great resource that is of high quality that they can look back on when they're older and share with their children. So it's a generational thing. And I think we're at the heart of all of that, especially being in Catalan as well, because historically got a very important place in the Irish language. So I think for us, if it was English, it wouldn't have the same. It just wouldn't. There's enough English out there.
And we
The Irish is bringing something else, and I do believe that the way you have a language, it makes you think about the world in a certain way. Like on Tahad's War, the big needle. I mean, English wouldn't say a dragonfly is a big needle, or Bo and Jay, they wouldn't say it's God's little cow for a ladybird, or Smuggly Rowan for a seal. They wouldn't have those kind of descriptive. And because we're so artistic, the language is very artistic.
Okay. So listen, gur cead maithagah.
we shouldn't screen you.
Be me de caiintleh, be me de gur cead maithagah is conjugí ormh, be me de caiintleh de mar teagin. So agus be seo an wee revision. So conjugí ormh, thanks for making the time to chat to us, and you're going to really enjoy meeting some of our local business people and entrepreneurs
Yeah,
next Tuesday to
really looking
discuss
forward to
your
it.
journey and chuck them with your Iceland's mófish. And all right, folks, gur cead maithagah, slán go fóill.
Thanks,
In the
Andy.
biggest search,
Slán.
Fermagat.